Hi, welcome back guys, this is your friend, WTFW with another fiction. What if Deku the green-haired hero with cartoon logic powers? Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Things have been rather calm during the following weeks after the entrance exams. No chaos, no crazy scheme, and most notably no green-haired menace to be seen. The days where the news would hound on another incident occurred by the town idiot were soon switched to mundane, more uninteresting things. Some were overjoyed at finally having a shred of peace, before quickly devolving into a constant loop of dread and realizing that it was only going to be temporary. To the rest, however, they were for the most part very confused. What happened? Where is that green lunatic they always see on the TV? Will the narrator just shut up and move along with the story? Maybe not the last one, but it seemed appropriate at the time. Nevertheless, contrary to popular belief, Izuku is not always a raving lunatic. There are times where the insanity and the wackiness must be set aside for the rational and the more composed. Just as the saying all work and no play can also be twisted to all play and no work, there must be a time where one puts their nose to the grindstone. Although he hasn't found the time to do that just yet. In fact, the only times where he would actually be busy would be when either he is doing his hero analysis or helping someone out with their own projects, which is exactly the kind of person that May needs at the moment in her parents' garage. WHIRR. Clang. The sounds of tools can be heard as May fiddled around with a large engine, with Izuku by her side wearing his mechanic outfit and Mirio watching from a safe distance. The garage itself was big enough to house several vehicles, as both her parents were aficionados on automobiles and would use every opportunity to work on many cars of many brands and models. Knowing that their daughter would be working on machines, they allowed her to work at the garage, so long as she didn't do anything ridiculous like blowing things up or somehow creating sentient AI. Obviously, that wouldn't be the case, because any sane person would have the common sense to prevent that from happening. Not in a million years. Nope. May held a hand out to Izuku, focusing on her work. Wrench, said Izuku, handing said tool to May. Twist, torch, FWOOO. Moral support. This time Izuku hands her a blueprint of a highly complex machine, filled with measurements and calculations. Shudder yufufufufu. Oof, oh yeah, that's the stuff. If Mirio or Izuku were creeped out, they didn't show it. Suo, what exactly is this for, May? This doesn't look like any support item you usually work on, said a very confused Mirio. May looked up from the project she was working on, already covered in grease and grime and with a smile real wide. Well, obviously you can't be a great inventor without trying out a few new things. I figured, if I'm building something for the heroes, why not something for the masses? That'll be double the profits, double the exposure, WHOOSH, and double the fun. Woohoo! Yelled out Izuku, switching back to his casual clothes. Let me tell you something guys, I wouldn't mind spending a pretty yen for this little number here. Mirio looked at the contraption with a bit of skepticism, and rightfully so. The project in question is a massive engine with two boosters on a sort of sleigh with a chair bolted on. While the thing wasn't a ramshackle, and knowing how this usually goes, he has more than enough reasons to feel anxious about it. Ew, I'm not sure if this is even a good idea. Are you sure Izuku can handle this? Of course, Izuku is more than capable of cheating death. Do you even hear yourself right now? Okay, you two, knock it off. Are we gonna do this now or what? Asked the green-haired test subject. May quickly turned to him, eager to get this started. Heck yes. Now get on that chair, assistant. Whoosh. Izuku quickly switched into a crash test dummy outfit and jumped on the chair. He buckled himself in before pulling out a helmet from his back pocket and putting it on. He quickly gives a thumbs up towards the other two. All right. All set and ready to go. Great. Just let me do a final check and we can begin the test run. From there, May gets a clipboard from the top of the tool cabinet nearby and begins the once-over on the machine. Mirio, seeing that the inevitable disaster is delayed for the time being, goes closer to Izuku. Okay, be straight with me here. Why are you volunteering to be the test dummy for this thing? I mean, I know how much you like to mess around a lot, but this seems a bit too much right now. Izuku was confused. The heck are you talking about? This isn't the first time I've done something like this. Besides, you and the little gremlin. I think you mean genius. The green bean waved off May's comment, much to her dismay. Yeah, sure, whatever. Anyways, it's not like the either of you do much to stop me anyways. True, but that's mostly because it ends with you being in such a ridiculous position that I can't help but laugh. You do have a point there. Yeah, but what I'm asking is why are you doing this a day before school starts? Why else? We gotta make a good first impression after all. Are you really taking this thing to school? Clang. Oh, what was that from May? I told you that they are not things. They are my babies and you shall respect them as such. As soon as they stop combusting out of nowhere I will. Don't make me shove this clipboard down your throat, you jacked up, jerk-off jock. Up yours, little miss blow up ROBODOLL. OUSONNAVA. AWWOOGAA. The verbal fight was quickly cut off by a sudden wail, rattling the entire garage and sending several objects in disarray. Mirio and Mei can only stare at Izuku in shock, both of their hair ruffled roughly by the raging human siren. Izuku for his part looked at the two with arms crossed and a pout. As much as I love to hear you two go at it, can we get things moving now? He yelled. Mei was the first to recover. Yup. Places people. Mei and Mirio quickly gained some distance away from the contraption as Izuku got cozy in his seat. From there Mei went to her laptop where she quickly began putting in the commands to begin the test. Soon the sled began to rumble as the engine began to start, the boosters shortly after emitting flames. All right Izuku, are you ready? Yelled Mei over the deafening noise. She got a thumbs up from Izuku. 10, 9, 8, WHIIIRRRRRR. The sled begins to hover slightly, the sudden thrust blowing everything around the garage into a jumbled mess. The rattling and rumbling begins to get more violent as the sled shakes uncontrollably. Mirio sees this and begins to hide behind a few heavy objects while Mei continues the countdown regardless. 7, 6, 5, WHIIIRRRR boom. Bang, pop. The sled now begins to sputter as a few cogs and bolts fall out from it. Smoke now emerges from the engine and blinds Izuku as he tries to wave away the fumes. Cough, hack, wheeze, ugh. For all your planning, I don't think eco-friendly was on the list. 4. Okay, this is getting too boing. THRETWOONEGO. EOOOM. CRSH. The sled bursts out from the garage. Now leaving a decent-sized hole on the wall, completely missing the open door. Now suddenly alarmed, the two rush out towards the open to see their green-haired lunatic leaving a trail of smoke behind him. Houston, we have lift to oof. Izuku's ecstatic cry gradually went out as he was now seen as nothing more than a speck in the distance. Mirio and Mei could only watch in silence as they tried to take in all of what happened just a few minutes ago, their faces struck deadpan. You know, said Mei, maybe you were right about doing this before school. You don't really mean that, do you? Nah, not really. I'm just demoralized at the fact that my baby is going to be nothing more than a wreckage before school starts. Well, hopefully it won't do major damage. Sigh, never mind. I forgot that we were talking about Izuku for a bit. Inko was in the middle of her day off, enjoying a nice hot cup of tea while watching a lovely soap opera on the TV. She loves her little boy, she always will, but there are times when she needed time for herself. After all, she did wanted a nice quiet life after spending so much time serving in BZZZT. We interrupt this program to bring you this special news bulletin. Just a few hours ago, the heroic duo known as Water Hose was in the middle of a vicious battle against an rank villain Imasuji Goto, otherwise known as Muscular, when suddenly a large metallic contraption suddenly crashed right on top of the villain, rendering him unconscious. Both heroes are in critical condition, suffering numerous injuries, and have been rushed to the hospital. Meanwhile, the villain has been apprehended by authorities and will be brought to trial for numerous charges against him, including murder, extortion, and armed robbery. As for the contraption in general, it appears to be some sort of makeshift flying vehicle that was under testing, although the purpose of said flying contraption remains to be known. The driver of the vehicle, Musutafu's own troublemaker Izuku Midoriya, was flying from the Musutafu district before a major malfunction caused him to lose control of the flying vehicle before crash landing on the villain. We asked Midoriya to comment on the situation, and this is what he had to say. CRASSSSHHH. Authorities say that the case is still under investigation, but regardless of the outcome, there is one thing certain about this. Musutafu is absolutely terrifying. This is generic reporter girl from a random village, EXPOJPTV. Midoriya's eyes twitched as she realized that she would have to go pick up her son. Now, with the fact of her day off being ruined, she went to her room to change and gather her things before leaving. She made extra sure to bring the rolling pin with her this time. She also made a quick mental note to make a stop at both Mei and Mirio's place in the meantime. God help them. The next day, after many months of preparation, along with all the trials and hardships of going into a prestigious school such as the illustrious UA, the time has finally come to take the first few steps into greatness. While the fact that he was going into the heroics left a somewhat bitter taste in his mouth, he couldn't really deny that it did a good job of inflating his ego. In fact, he felt so ecstatic he decided to sing his way to school. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody's gonna slow me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving. But mother's gonna break my sides. I'm running and I won't slow down. Hell no. I got to keep on moving. Weird choice of lyrics, but okay. Ignoring the weird looks from the other students, he wandered around the hallways of the school before he found the door to his homeroom. He quickly did a mental check on his person to make sure everything was in place. The school uniform he is wearing is custom made to his exact measurements, avoiding any sag and wrinkles. He made sure his black leather loafers were polished to perfection. Running a hand through his slicked back hair, he also made sure that there was no strand out of place. Finally, he quickly did a breath check. With everything in place, it's time to make the scene. Hey, showtime. Bam! His sudden entrance startles the entire class, including a certain Four Eyes and Bakego. GOODMOORNIN1AA. Today's a fabulously sunny day. No clouds on sight but very steamy later on in the afternoon. That's the humidity I'm talking about, among other things. He gives a flirty wink and grin to the girls he spotted in the classroom. A few blush while others return the gesture in kind. Some of the boys weren't too thrilled about that. Others seem amused, and the rest seem uninterested in the whole ordeal. Bakugo on the other hand. Damn it, Izuku. I told you to not show your sorry ass here. He yelled angrily. Language. We are at the illustrious UA and as students we must set an example. Fuck off, Four Eyes, before I kill you. Izuku just gives his frenemy a wide smug grin, further pissing him off. Oh come on now, all buddy all pal, I thought you would be happy to see me here. Like hell I would be. Do you have any idea how much crap I had to put up with since your little stunt back in middle school? For your information, Blondie, you were the one who wanted to, in your words, kick my loony as S back to tune TOWN. I was just acting in self-defense. Self-defense. You knocked me into the fucking sky with a wooden floor that you took from the hard tile floor. Ada took a double take. Wait, what was THA? Tomato tomato, same difference. Honestly man, I didn't think you would be the guy that likes to spit hairs that much. Ada took his chance to intervene. Excuse me, Midoriya, but I think what you meant was splitting hairs. Really? And what did I say? You said spitting hairs. Well thank you, Ada, for that lovely piece of info. I'll be sure to care about it next week. He ignored his classmates' offended gasp. Now then, what was I gonna do? WHOOSH. Izuku quickly slid by a certain pink-skinned girl, who after she saw the whole ordeal just sat in amused anticipation. Johnny Bravo voice, hey there foxy mama. You from outer space? Cause I think that he, you're out of this world. PFFFFT hahaha. Are real smooth there, dude. Hahaha. Okay, not the reaction I was going for but alright. So, you got a name Pinky? Yeah, name's Mina. Mina Ashido. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, sweet cheeks. Speaking of cheeks, I wonder if she's here too. Bam! Another student bursts through the door, breathing heavily from running to class. Huff. Oh god, am I late? Please tell me I'm not late. Izuku turns around and brightly smiles upon realizing who arrived. Gasp. There you are. I was wondering when you'd show up. Oh, it's you. The crazy guy at the entrance exams. Yup, that's me. The girl bowed deeply in gratitude. I forgot to thank you for saving me during the entrance exams. I was trying to find you but you just disappeared. Well, I'm not one to miss dinner, and if mama's not happy, ain't nobody happy. Oh, well, regardless, I still wanted to let you know how much I appreciated it. Not at all. Now then, he quickly went to her and slid his arm around, earning a small eep from Uraraka and a loud cry of surprise from the class. Damn, that guy's really going for it? So manly, said Kirishima. What the hell are you doing? Think you're hot shit flirting with chicks, yelled out Mainta. Bzzzzz-ta. Jhhhh. Thud. Gyro looked at the convulsing purple nurple in annoyance. Okay, I know we just got here and don't know each other, but can you please shut up? That really hurt my ears. Ignoring the minor distraction, Izuku asked, how about we ditch this classroom and head towards the infirmary? I don't mean to brag, but I'm told I can do a mean mass. FWWIP. GHMMMPHHH. HMPH Humph 3000. The whole class suddenly gets up in alarm as Izuku is quickly silenced by what appears to be a scarf. That's enough out of you, Midoriya, says a very tired Aizawa, emerging from under the desk in a sleeping bag. He quickly switches his attention towards the rest of the class. As for you lot, it took you longer than 5 seconds to quiet down even with the problem children here. How disappointing. Aizawa took out a gym uniform from his sleeping bag. I am your homeroom teacher, shouted Aizawa. And yes, that is how you say my name, and whoever says otherwise is an idiot. Damn idiotic hero clown. Ignoring the last part of that sentence, he went on. Now I want all of you to wear this uniform and head out towards the PE grounds. Don't bother asking me about orientation or the rest of that nonsense because this is the heroics course. I am here to teach you how to become heroes worthy of that title. From here on out, you either throw yourself into this course. SWIP. Crash. WHEHEH. GERONIMUO. Thud. I'm okay. I think ... ouch ... Aizawa's eyes become stern and calculating as he looked at the now pale white faces of his students. Or I will throw you out of this classroom. Understood. Without even answering him, they all quickly raced out of the classroom, not wanting to be next target of his rage. Aizawa for his part takes a quick glance towards the now broken window before calmly walking out the classroom himself. He might be a pain in the ass, and he might also be the most annoying student I've ever have. But damn, he makes for a good stress reliever. Don't let Midoriya hear that. She might share her ways of relief. Later, at the UAP grounds, after quickly changing into their uniforms, Aizawa briefly explained the basic rules of the quirk assessment test. When told that they were no longer required to hold back on their quirk usage, they became very excited. Really, sweet, we get to use our quirks. This is going to be so much fun. Fun, you say, muttered Aizawa. Well damn, you shouldn't have said that, boys and girls. Okay then, how about I make it more fun? Whoever makes it last loses. No exceptions. What? But that's so unfair, cried Uraraka. Aizawa was quick to counter that statement. Oh, and you're saying that villains will play fair? How about accidents? Natural disasters? You think Mother Nature will just wait her turn till you show up? This is UA. Here is where you will truly learn the phrase plus ultra. This is where you and the rest of the hero course will struggle for the next 3 years. Aizawa then looked towards the rest of the class, Izuku, Midoriya, and Katsuki Bakugo. I want the both of you here front and center now. The two quickly stepped forward, with Bakugo begrudgingly looking at the teacher while Izuku shot finger guns at his teacher without a care in the world. The rest of the class seemed a bit confused as to what was going on. Aizawa ignored them, focusing on the two problem children instead. Before we begin this assessment, let me remind you two that you are here in UA only because the principal deems it illogical to deny you two and let your abilities to waste. While I concede that point, let me also remind you two that you are both already on probation. What the fuck? Wow, not an hour passed and already I'm on thin ice. Must be a new record. Quiet, Midoriya. Or should I call your mother and let her know that you were expelled because you decided to be a smartass? Shutting up now. You owe excuse me, Aizawa-sensei, called out Uraraka. What is it? He replied. Why are they being punished on the first day? They haven't done anything wrong. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Yokkaichi, so not from around here then. Okay. Aizawa looks over his class once again, his expression still stern. How many of you live or have been in Musutafu? In response, several students slowly raised their hands, sort of knowing where he was going with this. Okay, those that raised their hands stepped forward. Todoroki, Takoyami, and Jiro were the ones who stepped forward. You three will explain the situation with these two after the quirk assessment. We wasted enough time as it is. Yes, Aizawa-sensei. Good, let's begin. And so begins the quirk assessment, again shortened to a simple yet efficient montage, as prescribed by your local shrink. Remember, if you or a loved one has experienced the symptoms that include but are not limited to short-term memory loss, seizures, hallucinations, diarrhea, feeling fucking invincible, depression, severe cringe, listening to Huey Lewis and the news, speaking in townjas, then you may be entitled to financial compensation. Speak to your fourth-dimensional lawyer for more information. Test 1, grip test. Along with getting a grip on reality and owning up to the task at hand. This is a simple test of strength that challenges even the most hardy men. Even now the boys of 1A have mostly decided this was a way to prove their manliness. Unfortunately, mostly meant that only Izuku and Kirishima have decided to test their manliness. HGGGNNN. UUHHHGGG. HUMMPHHH. RRRRRGGGHH. By apparently doing bodybuilding poses while gripping the device. I see you're a disciple of manliness as well. You lift by any chance? RRRRAHHH, asks Kirishima as he moves into a different pose. Izuku, on the other hand, is now shirtless, providing a nice source of eye candy to the girls and donning sunglasses. Arnie voice, yeah. I do my best to hone this pristine temple of man called a body. Now pose with me, little man. Show me iron you're pumping. HGGGHHH. RAHHH. HRRRRRGH. HGAUUWHHH. Aizawa is on the sidelines watching this abomination of a show, and is currently contemplating quitting his job as a teacher. Unfortunately, Nezu has already denied his resignation. Do not ask how that is possible. Test 4, sustained side jumps. It's not unusual to be beloved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. But when I see you hanging about, it's called sideways jumps for a reason, Midoriya. It's not unsuzua hell to see me cry. I want a DIEE. That boy ain't right. Trial 5, the pitch. While the prospect of throwing a ball across the field isn't really fun or exciting, when you are told that you're allowed to go absolutely nuts with your quirk, it does put a nice twist on things. Some of the throws were more impressive than others, and some weren't able to get as far as they hoped due to their limitations with said quirks. Some of the highlights include Bakugo when he resorted to small-scale violence, as well as Uraraka practically saying screw gravity and letting the ball float off into space. However, the most impressive one was when Yaoyorozu teased the whole class by flashing them, followed by exposing her cannon and shooting her shot for all to see. When you arrange words in a certain way, you can make even the most chaste of sentences sound more dirty. While irrelevant, it is some food for thought. Each one had their turn, until Izuku came to bat. Whoosh, ahoyas callwywags. He be about to witness the most amazing cannon shot ever seen this side of the islands. Wagahaha, yells out Izuku with the enthusiasm of Barbarossa. Who also apparently had dressed up as a pirate without anyone looking, shocking the class once more. Where the hell did that guy pull that outfit from? Asks Zero. Ha ha ha. You go, pirate dude, says Kaminari. What the actual fuck, Midoriya? We're already in deep shit as it is. Shut it and twat. I don't need ZT start natter and utter shite to me. Now then, he gestures wildly to the class. Watch as I pull a cannon from out me pants. With that said, and with an unnecessary grand wave of his hands, he quickly shoves them down his pants. Several of the girls quickly shield their eyes. Damn it, dude. We don't need to see your junk, yells Gyro. Well, I don't mind a show. Show me some skin, pretty boy. Woo, says Mina. What the hell did I do to deserve this? Thinks a distraught Aizawa as he sees this unfold. Don't tell me this was my fault. Thinks a very embarrassed Momo, making herself as small as possible. Clunk. With a final heave-ho, our Captain Seaweed manages to produce an 18th century cannon, which is actually too comedically large for it to be practical. Don't worry, beauties. Ties as big as TH1 I pack for fun. Ha ha. Now we shall URKK. This causes another round of blushes for the ladies of Class 1A. However, just before he could lay any more verbal piracy, he is suddenly tied up in the patented hobo scarf made for the one and only Aizawa, as he ends up face to face with him. Izuku can see the barely restrained rage exhuming from the homeroom teacher, seething through his teeth and scarf. Okay, Midoriya, you've had your little fun. Now hurry up and do your throw before I expel you right here and now. Do I make myself clear? Izuku, for his part, was not at all fazed. Not a briny problem, Cap. I have this settled faster, you can say mercantilism. Aizawa didn't even bother to respond as he threw the boy back on the field. Bash. OWWW. Thankfully, the cannon was able to stop his acceleration. Whoosh. Not wanting to waste any more time on the test, he quickly changed his clothes and pulled out the softball. A little small for my taste. Let's fix that. And with a huff and a puff, he quickly blows on the softball like a balloon, making it grow and grow until it was just enough to fit snug in the cannon. Hey, and now for the coup de grace, he says as he takes out a match. With a stroke on his shoe, he strikes the match alight and lights the fuse. Izuku quickly plugs his ears and braces himself, his classmates following suit. Fire in the hole. The fuse gets shorter and shorter as everyone anticipates the inevitable boom, but what they didn't anticipate. Thud. Clank. Is the cannon suddenly clunking down, pointing at the ground. Izuku the cannon. Something's wrong with the cannon, yells Ochako in horror. What? Izuku takes a look at the cannon and suddenly breaks out in sweat. Looking at the fuse, he only has a few seconds before it goes off. Without a word, he dashes towards the front end and tries to pick it up. RRRRGGG. WHEAZ. Rocky, get over here and help me for Pete's sake. I'm coming, bro, replies Kirishima as he heads to Izuku and lifts up the cannon with him using his hardening quirk. Unfortunately, in his panic, he severely overshot his strength and accidentally throws the cannon backwards, throwing Izuku inside. Oh shit, teacher, look out. Aizawa, now with wide eyes and directly into the line of fire, he only had enough to say a few words. Midoriya, you fully rigged, grade A, prancing son of a B. KABOOOM. CRAASH. Aizawa was not able to finish his sentence as Izuku collided with him, sending them both into the side of the school building and leaving a massive hole in the wall. The rest of the class were stunned silent as they stared out into the debris. Not only that, but the massive noise caught the attention of the other classes and gathered by their windows to see what had happened. One of them just so happens to be Mirio, who was on the floor just above the second years. Hey, you guys all right? Mirio yelled out towards the field. The others were too stunned to speak, leaving Bakugo to answer for them. Oh my fucking, it's fine, Tin. Midoriya's just doing dumb shit again. Oh, was he dressed as a pirate again? Yeah, shot himself and hit the teacher too. Okay, I'll get Ishiyama-sensei to get that fixed real quick while you call his mom. Why the fuck do I got to tell her? Because I did that the last time something like this happened. Fuck you, Blondie, I ain't doing that. Well, May's not doing that either. She's already in trouble with that dumbass flying machine of hers. FWWIP. Playing, URKAC. Thud. A few rooms left of Mirio's classroom, we find May herself poking out of the window, looking down at the unconscious body of the boy in question after throwing the wrench. I can fucking hear you. Needless to say, class was dismissed early today. While no one was expelled, Izuku was given detention for a week and was required to clean up the mess. The sentence was extended to include May when she attempted to fix the hole using a fast-drying concrete machine, which caught on fire and caused extensive damage to the room closest to them, which so happened to be Class 1B. When he was offered a different room, their homeroom teacher graciously accepted, as he wanted to be as far away from Class 1 as humanly possible. Unfortunately, this also meant that they had to share a room with one of the general course students. As for Izuku, wait. Today was just a fluke. A snag. I promised to be good. Izuku, what did I say about causing a mess? To not to do it. But it was all that stripping girl's fault. She tempted me with her bosom when she wanted a cannon. Gasp, and you've been taking advantage of girls. This was not how I raised you. Seems like I have to teach you how to behave. Wait, no, please, I'll be good. Please, spare me, I don't want to die. Clang, thud. We find our lovable fool crumpled on the floor of the principal's office, with Midoriya putting away the frying pan back in her purse to the horror of the principal and several teachers present. I apologize for the trouble that my son has caused today, she said with an exasperated sigh. I really wished he would at least make some friends before something like this happened. As she easily picks up her son in a fireman's carry, one of the teachers finds the courage to speak to her. So Ms. Midoriya, are you sure he'll be alright? I mean, that was one hell of a smack you gave him, says Yamada-sensei. Inko looks back at him, but he notices that her eyes are more distant. Of course, no matter what happens to him, he always manages to get back up again. I really don't like doing this, but there is only so much that scolding could do, and I don't want others to think of him as a menace. But surely there must be a different way of doing this. This seems a bit unhealthy, says Kayama-sensei. Well, unless you have a psychiatrist with the patience of Buddha, then unfortunately this is all that I can do. I love my son. Really I do, but I don't know how much more I can take this. Excuse me. With those final words, she quietly leaves the office and makes her way out, ignoring the bizarre stares she gets from the other students. Her thoughts become more vivid as she walks through the hallways. I don't know how much more I can take of this. I thought after leaving behind the group things would be more better for me, but all it does, it make me remember why I joined in the first place. Her face becomes more strained as she struggles to keep her composure, not wanting to accidentally snap her son in two. It wouldn't matter anyways. It's not like it actually hurts him. Nothing does. All he does is say no to damage. Ugh, I wish I had that power instead. There is so much I can do with it. As she reaches her vehicle, she gently places Izuku in the back seat, buckling him in. Then she makes her way to the driver's seat, still lost in thought. I shouldn't think like that. Izuku is more than capable of taking care of himself. He can always fight on and not break a sweat, but I'm not sure if he can keep himself in check. Don't worry, Izuku. I'll make sure you don't get to that point. I'll make sure you stay as my sweet young boy. She grips her steering wheel tightly, staying focused on the road. Let me do it instead. I can do it. Let me take the brunt of it. Let me get rid of them for you. She doesn't even notice how her face begins to break out in a very wide grin. Besides, I enjoyed my job while it lasted. Purge the weak. Become the hunter. We have an intruder. Take her down before she discovers our operation. Show them no mercy. Relish in their pain and suffering. A hail of bullets and more than a dozen quirks released in quick succession, ready to finish off the unknown threat. One by one they are cut down by swift, calculating and unrelenting strikes. What the hell? Come on, you idiots. We need to take her down before. A goon's ranting quickly becomes a gargled mess as his throat becomes no more than a gaping hole, its contents bursting out around the hard concrete floor. Not unlike the others, each one of their worthless lives are extinguished in the same manner. Either by quirk, weapon, or by her own hands, she makes sure that each kill was confirmed. Bask in the chaos of carnage and slaughter of those who dare take advantage. With each passing moment, the morale of the scummy, law-breaking worms wanes, their confidence turning into shock, their shock into fear, fear into unrelenting dread. Fuck this, man. I ain't willing to die for this shit. We need to get out of here. Boss, we need to get out of here. We need to escape before SH. That was as far as another goon would say his words before a large blade pierces through the door of the boss's office, as the blade also pierces through the man's heart. The boss and the other two lackeys barely had time to register what had occurred before the blade suddenly retracts back in, letting the body drop. This was followed by a massive kick that ripped the door off its hinges. The boss lunges himself out the way. WHURK. One of the lackeys were unfortunate enough to stand in between the door and the table, as the sheer force of the impact broke his spine in two before collapsing. The other rushes in to intercept, but before he can even lay a hand on her, she quickly headbutts him. The lackey is knocked back in a daze, failing to register the blade that soon relieved his head from his body. If I am to be a monster, then I shall be a monster that preys on the wicked. The boss, now a quivering mess, begins to move away from the person who dispatched many of his men with ease. A green-haired woman, her clothes bathed with the blood of her enemies, gaze on him with dilated, hardened eyes. Her smile, however, please, I give you anything. You want money, power, I can give it to you. Her smile widens, if that's even possible. Anything? Why yes, anything, the boss says with a nervous smile. His smile quickly fades as she raises her blade with malicious intent. Then give me your best screams. N-O-O-O. B-I-P-B-I-P. B-I-P-B-I-P. Z-Z-Z-Z-Z-S-N-R-K-Ha. W-H-U-H. Inko's dream quickly becomes interrupted with the blaring sound of the alarm clock. As she tries to get her bearings, she looks at her clock, showing that it was already 6:30 in the morning. Ugh, why is it when I get a good dream going, I wake up? I swear. Wearing only a tank top and panties, she quickly untangles herself from her bedsheets before sitting up on her bed, the alarm clock still blaring. B-I-P-B-I-P. B-I-P-B-I. Inko quickly slams her fist on the clock to stop the noise, only to find that she accidentally bashed her clock beyond repair. That and her nightstand has now split in two. AGH. Damn it, that was 14,000 yen I just wasted. Of all the rotten luck. With her morning already going to a rocky start, she begrudgingly heads towards the closet to get her clothes. Afterwards, she shuffles out of her room into the bathroom to take a bath. If it is not noticeable already, it should be noted that Inko Midoriya is, in fact, not a morning person. However, she does enjoy the relative quiet of the little time she has before her son wakes up. She really loves her son more than anything, but it's also nice to have some time for yourself once in a while, which is why she takes a bit longer than usual to clean herself up, making sure to take extra care of her body. In one spot in particular, that is her scar where the lower abdomen is, she makes sure to scrub carefully there. That was when I gave birth to you, my little Izuku. With the birth of her son, she never thought there would be another moment where she would be filled with joy. While it wasn't something that she initially wanted, it felt good to be mother. It felt good to love someone and to care for them. She also realized that it felt even better to protect what was hers, and I will make sure nothing happens to him. With that final thought, she finished up her bath. There was still some time before she had to leave, so she made sure to make some breakfast for Izuku before she left for work. Izuku. Time for breakfast. She hears a loud crashing noise from his room, announcing his presence. I'm up. I'd like those eggs scrambled like always. Inko let out a small giggle at her son's antics. He never fails to make her smile. Sure thing, honey. Just make sure to take a bath first before you eat, okay? Okay, Mom. From morning till night, the Midoriyas are always without a dull moment. When one is studying at a prestigious hero school such as UA, one would normally expect to receive heroics training as soon as possible. While that sounds like a doozy and a half, it is also highly unrealistic. When you go to school, do you take gym before math or science? Of course not. Which is why it is very important to note that while you can learn to fight villains, you would also have to learn how to read between the lines of a 250-page lawsuit against a landlord for destruction of property. What? You think that everything gets fixed up with some sort of quirk? Maybe, but then the one doing it will demand to get paid. That means that math is now involved. This is the type of example that the Japanese government comes up with in order to explain why students should waste half their day learning all the essential subjects. Fortunately, with the power of fanfic bullshittery, we can quickly skim past that and move towards lunchtime, where we find our lovable green idiot chowing down on another mountain of food courtesy of the hero Lunch Rush, along with Mei, who is currently using her screwdriver as a utensil. Nom nom nom, you know. Mei munch. At first I thought the food was going to be nothing more than burrrp. Slop on a tray, but crunch. That Lunch Rush hero really knows what he's doing. I know. Munch. The last time I had something this good was when I was at your place. Your mom makes a really great katsudon. While they both continue with their conversation and meal, the rest of one remain baffled on the amount of food and utter lack of manners. Geez, I get that Lunch Rush makes great food, but do they really need to pig out like that? Wonders Gyro. With how much and how fast they are eating, I would be surprised if they weren't somehow related to fat gum, says Momo, feeling a bit inadequate for some reason. Maybe their quirks have to do with it. I know some people that have quirks that require a lot of energy just to maintain it, ribbit, says Sue. I guess, but that still doesn't excuse them for not bothering with table manners. Suddenly, a loud voice startles the class as they quickly look over to Mei, pointing her greasy screwdriver at them. Hey, table manners are nothing more than a hindrance to my goals. Food is only fuel, and sleep is only maintenance for the mind. I will not be dragged down by cheap, insignificant social dogma. What the hell does any of that mean? Izuku looks out from his still large pile of food, his face equivalent to that of a puffed-up chipmunk. Quickly, he swallows his food before responding with a wide smile. What my partner in crime is trying to say, B-Pods, is that she doesn't care and to deal with it. Trust me, you're not the first to try it. Okay then, but was there really any need to be so loud about it? You're causing a scene, Ribbit, says Tsu. Hey, she's just being passionate about it. I for one love her enthusiasm. Some of his classmates did not like that response, especially a certain rule-abiding Four Eyes. Being passionate. If anything, she's being disrespectful. As students of UA, we must uphold the standards and expectations that our predecessors set before us. All you are doing is making a mockery of this great educational institution. Izuku's eyes widen in response before looking back at Mei. Wow, not even the end of the month and already rubbing people the wrong way. I think I'm starting to like this place already. Well, please don't get yourself expelled anytime soon, okay? I still need to have my guinea pig around for my experiments. Yeah, don't get your overalls in a twist, okay, Scope Eyes? Ada was horrified to say the least. Experiments? Are you really willing to put one of your classmates and close friend in harm's way in the way of progress? Of course, I already got his permission, so don't worry about it, says Mei. Also, since we're on the same page here, Mei got up and went to sit right next to Ada, who slightly leaned back with some apprehension. Mei positioned herself so that she would face him, head propped up by arm while looking at him with a deep stare and a lofty smirk on her face. Is there something you need, Hatsum? Asks Ida, feeling a bit intimidated. The others at the table seemed to be confused as to what was going on. Izuku, being the helpful idiot he is, decides to finish Mei's half of the food. Mei, to her credit, ignores it and hums in amusement. Just wondering about something here. You're related to that Igenium guy, right? Why, yes, I am his younger brother, but how did? So that means that you both have similar quirks, right? That's correct, except it's on my legs, but what does that have to do with? And what you have are engines on your legs, right? Yes, but? Everyone was suddenly caught off guard as she then leaned into him, latching onto his arm and pressing her figure against him. Ada, for his part, found her boldness too much for comfort as he stiffened up in surprise. However, it was nothing compared to what she said next. Then how about we both head to the workshop, big guy? I can put those legs to work while make some babies together. Then the place just absolutely exploded. Like holy mother of God, even the author himself did not see this coming. What? Ribbit. Oh my goodness, how scandalous. What in the actual fuck did I just hear? PFFFTHAHAHAHA. May you absolute madwoman, you are bold. Kudos. Now being absolutely overwhelmed by a sea of emotions, Ada decided that it was time to reboot the pirated Windows 95 software he calls a brain thud, and slumped over the table into unconsciousness. It was then and there when they realized that the friend of their unhinged classmate was, in fact, a technophile. From now on, every visit made to the workshop will forever haunt Ada, as he would now be subjected to endless jokes about Mei giving him a tune-up job. It was made worse when Mei soon called him Quickie every time they met together, and Izuku will forever deny that he suggested the name to her till the end of time. Overall, a good start to the new school life. When Inko first got a call from the principal a while back, she was only slightly worried. She knew how much trouble her son would be to those who haven't known him for long. In fact, she absolutely expected him to receive some sort of disciplinary action during the first month of school. However, she knew that nothing bad would happen. Unlike the spineless and utterly incompetent staff, she had to keep herself from doing any bodily harm to Inaldra. The staff in UA were utmost professionals. While not perfect, as they were heroes before they became educators, they knew the concept of nurturing and teaching the future generation as is their duty and would not shy away in helping students in need. Those in Inaldra, on the other hand, already have their names and personal information stored away in a black notebook hidden in her room. When Izuku told her of his plans to enter UA in the business course, she was ecstatic and fully supportive of her son in becoming a businessman. In fact, she planned to celebrate a bit early with a bit of katsuden with Emi, her son, and his friends. Everything was going great, but then came the announcement. Izuku is going to the hero course. They wanted him to join the hero course. Him, a hero. They want to drag him into the hero course. They want to drag her darling baby boy into danger. They want her son to suffer at the hands of filthy, disgusting, worthless pieces of trash that plagues this godforsaken world that deserve nothing less than cruel and excruciating. Obviously, this was not said out loud, with only a much lighter cry of surprise directed at Emi for not telling her sooner. This had greatly given her no small amount of stress, and had to keep herself from actively trying to murder some random thug off the streets. It wasn't until the incident during the exams when she voiced her displeasure of her son being in the hero course. Unfortunately, it seemed that she let out a bit too much of killing intent, because the teachers suddenly became more guarded than they expected. Once she saw the looks on their faces, she knew that she messed up. She was hiding something, and she let them know it. Thankfully, it was clear in their mind they shouldn't try to find out what she was hiding. Everyone knew it. Apparently, everyone knew except the principal. Or maybe he did know, but didn't care and dug deeper regardless, which is why she is now in the principal's office while Principal Nezu was making tea. I would like to thank you, Mrs. Midoriya, for taking the time out of your busy day to speak to me. I would have contacted you earlier before the semester began, but there were a few pressing issues that needed to be addressed beforehand, said Nezu. I understand, Principal. It must seem a lot to take care of so many students, especially when they are just getting to that age where they need to think more of their future. Although when you called me to let me know about what had happened with Izuku, I can't help but feel a bit apprehensive about what exactly they are learning for their future, replied Inko. Haha. I can assure you that while we do provide self-defense as well as other offensive lessons for heroism, we do not condone any needless violence nor do we encourage it. Glad to hear it. Now then, what was it you wanted to speak to me about exactly? Well, as you may have already noticed, there was a discrepancy when it came to your son's enrollment. When the application came to my office, I had full intention of having him enroll into the business course, regardless of potential. However, the smile on Nezu's face was gone, now frowning in concern. It appears that something or someone decided to alter the forms so that he would enroll in heroics. What? Slam! Inko slammed her fists onto the table, leaving a small crack down the middle. Her face contorted into barely concealed rage as she forced herself to keep her composure. She took deep breaths, letting the raging fire simmer until it was just as small as that of a candle. Nezu, to his credit, kept quiet, letting her cool off while he sipped his tea. After a few minutes, she took one last exhale before continuing the conversation. Sigh. I'm sorry for my outburst, Mr. Principal. I didn't mean to explode like that. It's not your fault, says Inko. I'm afraid I also have to share part of the blame, Mrs. Midoriya. Whoever made the changes were able to bypass our security system and were able to leave no trace whatsoever. We have been careless, and now I have to deal with the fact that one of our students may be in danger because of it. Still, I'm sure that you are able to provide protection regardless of the security breach. This is a hero school after all, so I doubt that they would attempt any attack with that many pro-heroes in one place. That is certainly a deterrent, I will concede on that. However, this presents another problem. Inko was confused. And what would that be? When the changes were made, this coincided with a large influx of applications that turned out to be either poorly made or downright fraudulent. This caused the enrollment process to slow down because we had to weed out the fake from the genuine. At first I believed that this was just to distract the staff while the changes were made. But then I realized that there might have been another motive for doing so. Wow, I would have been crying in exasperation and doing all that paperwork, thought Inko. Trying to skim hundreds, even thousands of forms would be exhausting. It's almost as if. Her eyes widened as she came to a realization. It's as if they're finding a needle in a haystack. Precisely, said Nezu. It appears that the purpose of that stunt was to install a few spies in our network, and therefore leak information to whoever they work for. And you're saying that you can't guarantee that they would be protected, because there is a chance that it might be one of the students. Not just students, but the staff as well. While we are able to prevent any spies to be in the faculty as staff, the same cannot be said of the students. Furthermore, there is also the possibility that they would learn about both the students and the teachers themselves. This means that in the case that UA does get attacked, they have the initiative. It might not mean much, but it may also mean the difference between life and death. Inko threw her hands up in exasperation. Okay then. There are spies, UA. My son is in danger and there is nothing we can do about it without them wising up and taking drastic measures. Does that sum everything up? Nezu didn't react, taking the sarcasm in stride. Yes, that does about sums it all up quite nicely. However, there is a solution that we can pursue for the time being. This is where you come in. Inko was caught off guard with this statement, giving Nezu a confused look. Excuse me. I don't mean to disrespect you or anything, but I don't see where this has to do with me apart from my son's situation. On the contrary, I believe that you may be of great help to us, Green Emerald. Inko almost felt her heart stop. She cannot believe what she just heard from the damn rat. What the hell did you just call me? She growled. Please do not misunderstand, ma'am. I am not here to detain you or to interrogate you. I only need your help. He was barely able to finish his sentence when suddenly his small form was snatched up by Inko, her hand wrapped tightly around his neck, cutting of circulation. Her rage returned twofold, her speech filtered through clenched teeth. And what kind of help do you want from someone like me? If you knew as much as you think you do, then you know that I don't take orders from anyone. I also don't appreciate how you think that you've got me by the proverbial balls by knowing who I am. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't just put you down like a rodent along with these so-called heroes you got under you. Nezu squirmed from her grip, struggling to make a sound as he puts his paws on her hand to alleviate some of the pain. Because heck, I see can help you from cough losing your son to HN and GH all for one. A few seconds of silence passed before Nezu was immediately released, landing on the couch and coughing violently. He looked at her, thinking that she may have been hit with surprise and dread when the name came up. only to realize that she was more confused than anything. Her head tilted as she tried to figure out how it was a problem. Wait, is that what this is about? Asked Inko. You're telling me all that plotting and inside jobbing was coming from him? Yes, says Nezu with the biggest aw fuck he could muster. Oh, well damn it, why didn't you say so? If that's the case, then that's just him trying to keep an eye out for Izuku. Well, that and he may try to kill All Might as well, but lately he's been kind of hesitant maybe. He told me something about wanting to see shit go down or whatever what means. Okay, this was not supposed to happen. He expected to be hit, for her to have some sort of mental breakdown or something along those lines. Hell, he was half expecting her to kill him. She realized he knew her secret. He was fully prepared to enact many of his contingency plans to make sure he prevented that and that she joined up with them. But having her breathe a sigh of relief when she heard about All For One of all people to be one behind this, and admitting that she knows about his plans to kill All Might with a straight face. How the hell can he plan for something so absurd? Wait, you mean to tell me that you know All For One? Asks Nezu, trying so hard not to believe what was happening. Inko looked at him as if he was stupid. Of course I know him. I mean, if you already knew about me then you should have known about our marriage, right? Okay, what the hell is with these curveballs today? Was there some sort of memo that was missed today or something? Inko quickly sat back down and made herself comfortable today, deliberately ignoring the horrified expression on his face he had at the moment. Okay, so, what do you need me to do? Nezu the rat has nibbled the cheese, and now he's stuck to deal with whatever disaster he gets trapped in. Looks like the detective might get a new drinking buddy soon. It was another day in the illustrious school of UA, where things were now cooling down after the first few days of the semester. Or was it a week? Sometimes it's a bit jarring to suddenly forget how long ago it happens when so many things happen in such a short time. Perhaps that is the reason why Izuku tends to lose track of time often. Or maybe it's better to remember the events that happen rather than the dates that are associated with them. Time is nothing more than a construct after all. Or was that common sense? Maybe that one. Regardless, if anyone has learned anything about the Green Menace, it is that 7 times out of a quadrant of fish it is possible that he might forget one or the other. Either that or he actively ignores it as if it was neural spam. Whatever the case, it seems that today it's the time as lunch has already started and there is no sign of him anywhere. Meanwhile, May and Mirio are having a friendly discussion at the lunch table. What the hell do you mean you would trap it with an electrified net over a fountain? Since when do you have the time to set up a trap like that? Actually no, forget that. How the hell would you even have one on you in the first place? Wow, you might actually have a problem with your quirk if it goes through your skull instead of into it. You know I always have several of my babies with me at any time for emergencies. And what about you, Mr. Phase into every wall? Your solution was just to literally stay in the kitchen freezer until dawn. Can you even handle the cold all night? Well yeah, because while you have to actively move around and not get slammed into oblivion like a makeshift bongo drum, I can just stay there and wait till they get to me. They're cold-blooded, remember? As soon as they feel even a bit of a chill, they immediately start to lose momentum. Got all the job done with the least amount of effort. But there are 30 of them. 30 of them. Do you really think you'll have enough time to even find a freezer before they find you? Of course, malls are always filled with food stores. And what do they all have? Freezers. I don't have to waste much time to find one. Well, I hope you find a way to get out of there, because if that door closes on you, you might as well let those things bite you in the ass and call it a day. This discussion has caused a bit of commotion with the other students, but decided to ignore it soon afterwards. Meanwhile, a few of the girls from Wana are having a conversation nearby. I don't know about you guys, but I get the feeling that today is going to be weird, says Asui. What do you mean? Asks Toru, who is eating her homemade bento. Well, first Izuku gets called to the principal's office, then Aizawa-sensei, then we just spend the entire morning class doing whatever. Then when we go to lunch, and we see the entire 1B class who are looking absolutely awful. Oh yeah, I was wondering about that. Did you ask them what happened? I tried, but it seems like they were even too tired to even talk. Guess today's heroics class is going to be excruciating. Ribbit. Ugh. I hope they're at least fun like the apprehensive exams. I don't want to do any long lectures about how to properly behave when confronted with the press, says Mina anxiously. It won't be fun as it will be more interesting, I guess. Ribbit. Yeesh, that bad. You're sure they didn't just spar or something? Asks Gyro, who up until now had just been listening. Again, I wasn't able to ask, but they were really out of it. As a matter of fact, one of them was even breathing very heavily, almost like she would pass out at any moment. Who was it? It was the girl with the vines for hair. I think her name is Ibara show something. I can't remember right now. Damn, wonder what's going on to make her stress out so badly. As lunch was nearing its end, they figured it was best to put it out of their mind for now and went back to the two idiots who were still continuing with their argument. Okay, I've just about had it with this idiocy. Mirio. Why the fuck would you choose black mambas over a gorilla? It doesn't make any sense. I've already told you many times why. Damn it. What about you? Are you so monkey-brained that you can't see anything past just throwing hands with a gorilla? You tell me, albino. How about you put them opposable thumbs to use right fucking now? My quirk is not even monkey-related. You fucking toaster licker. For a smart gremlin, you're acting a little smoothbrained right now. Oh really? Why don't you take a look then? May quickly gets up and headbutts him on the nose, before diving from across the table. The last 5 minutes were then spent on the girls trying to pry the two off each other until a faculty member ended the fight and dragged them to the principal's office. They would both have detention for a week, doing worksheets. Meanwhile, in one of the school bathrooms, lunch period is always the best time to rest up and refresh before continuing the school day, as many students meet up and have a chat or eat in relative peace. However, for Ibara Shizaki, it is only the few times apart from being at home where she could fully give thanks to her Lord and Savior. Occupying one of the stalls in the girls' restroom, Ibara uttered her utmost thanks and worship to whom she dedicated her whole life and being to. Born into a religious family, she was quick to join many others of her congregation. Like a fish to water, she became involved in the many ceremonies and activities of the church, by which she soon gained the respect of many of her Lord's flock. While this sense of accomplishment and pride overtook her in a way she could not describe, it was not the reason why she continued her due diligence, not because it would give her prominence, but because she would soon be involved in her Lord's great plan. A plan to lay the foundation of which his divine being would build his new world order. A new world, where his children would roam in a life of complete freedom and fulfillment, where they can spend the rest of their days living the life in his example. A new world where mayhem, chaos, and the law of entropy would soon reign supreme over the folly of stagnation and order. A new world, with her at the forefront of its creation, where she would bring the vessel of Loki to their temple and prepare for his arrival. When she was told by the high priestess that she would take on this daunting task, her heart soared with righteous vigor. Oh, how wonderful to be given such a monumental task. Oh, what joy to think that she would be one to bear the responsibility. BLAM. She bursts out of the stalls and almost trips towards the sink, her hands clenched harshly on the bathroom counter, trying in vain to control herself. Oh, but she was overwhelmed. Too happy, too excited, so full of emotions that she just might. BLEARRRRRGGGHHH. Now there's vomit on her blouse already, Mom's spaghetti eye. While she was busy clearing her stomach of any leftovers of her lunch, she failed to hear someone else walk into the bathroom. All right, why do I hear coughing? You better not be smoking unless I get a huh. Oh shit, exclaimed Inko as she quickly rushes over to Ibara, handing her a handkerchief. Cough cough. Thank burp. Thank you Midoriya-sensei. No problem, sweetie. Was today's hero training a bit much for you? I can adjust the regiment a bit if you have any issues. No, I must have. Eaten something bad during lunch? Yeah, really. I thought Lunch Rush was supposed to be a good cook. You sure that was it? Asked Inko a bit skeptically. Shit. Well, I brought a homemade bento today. Made it myself too. Must've. Gotten the wrong ingredients ... something ... Please believe it. Please believe it. Please believe it. Sigh. Well, either way, please head on over to the infirmary and let recovery girl know. Don't worry about class either. I'll let your teacher know. Yes, I'll be on my way now. Thank you, ma'am. Ibara quickly rushed out of the bathroom, her face red of embarrassment. Inko proceeded to freshen up at the sink, trying really hard not to look at the vomit next to her. That poor girl must have gotten cold feet during the exercise. When Inko was offered the job at UA, she was at first very suspicious about the whole thing, since the principal knew more than he let on in regards to her identity. Even when he revealed the fact to her, she wanted nothing more than to personally snap his snout shut permanently. Then she realized that it would have been a bad thing to kill the principal of a hero school within the vicinity of some of the most experienced heroes in all of Japan. Still, she had to make sure that she was still under control. That is until she was told that her husband was the one that was snooping around. While she loves him dearly with all her heart, she sometimes has to wonder how he comes up with the most idiotic ideas, flooding their emails with applications, getting a doctor to recreate Frankenstein's monster with a quirk, abducting a fucking kid to be his supposed successor. Okay, that last one might be for the best. When he told her about what was going on with the kid's family, she was absolutely appalled. Good God, how bad is it that a kid is actually more comfortable with a high-rank villain than with his own flesh and blood? It's a good thing they decided to unofficially adopt the kid. It would be nice to have everyone live under the same apartment, but with Hisashi traveling most of the time and Tamura wanting to continue the legacy, they had to settle with seeing each other only a few weeks at best. Thankfully, they make the most out of it when they visit. Speaking of visiting, it appears that the visit this morning actually bore some fruit, as she was happy to see that her son was no longer with one More or less, that is. You see, while it is possible to transfer him to the business course, it would have to be until the next semester, meaning that he would have to stay within the hero course till then. Inko demanded that he doesn't, threatening to take him out of the school altogether. It wasn't that part that was threatening, but the fact that how All for One would react if Nezu didn't give in to her demands. Instead, they made a compromise. Izuku would still attend with 1A, but as a teacher's aide for heroics, and since Inko herself is a teacher, she gets to decide how to teach, namely, just taking the leash off and letting him go to town or fighting them herself. Is it cheap? Yes. Would this be considered a grossly abuse of power? Definitely. Will they learn something from this? They will if she has to beat every lesson into them. As a matter of fact, it is now 1A's turn to receive a lesson. After finishing up at the sink, she quickly calls for a janitor before heading out to her classroom. Bam! It's Emi, coming trough like a normal person, yells All Might as he bursts through the classroom door, startling the class. From there, the classroom bursts into a wave of excitement and awe at the #1 hero. Holy crap, it's him. That's his Silver Age costume. I can't believe it. So manly. Can you tell us your workout routine? Asks Kirishima. Not right now, young Kirishima. I have a class to teach. All Might then takes out a card with the word battle written on it. I know you are all anxious to get things moving for a while, so today we are going to do some hands-on activities. This will help forge the foundation for your future, and to hone your skills to become excellent heroes. Not to mention, several cases emerge from the wall, further hyping up the students. We have taken the liberty of getting the gear you requested for this class, and one always takes time to maintain a good image, but enough talk. Go grab your cases and let's get ready to crash. Will you shut the hell up for one goddamn minute? I can hear you from the other side of the building. As fast as the students' enthusiasm rose, it dies just as quickly as a woman's scream vibrates through the classroom. The next few seconds are met with dead silence as the rhythmic sounds of footprints soon reach the classroom. As All Might forgot to close the door, the entire class sees a green-haired woman in what appears to be light tactical clothing standing in the doorway, with her arms behind her back. She gives a once-over to the classroom with a serious expression, putting the whole class on edge as they have no idea who this woman is nor her business here. They start to become more anxious as Bakugo begins to shiver with fright. Then they begin to outright panic internally when All Might begins to shiver in nervousness. Whatever the case, the woman ignores it as she smoothly walks to the desk. As she faces the class, the students pay attention as they listen intently to her introduction, only to jump in fright as she suddenly slams an object onto the desk itself. Looking closer at it, it turns out to be a stopwatch. I've heard from Aizawa-sensei that this class has an issue with wasting their time. While I could care less on this whole heroics class, I will agree to the fact that losing precious seconds is the difference between life and death. There is plenty of time to bask in your victories, but there is almost never enough time to learn from your defeats. My name is Inko Midoriya, and I will be your combat instructor. Before we begin today's lesson, I will say this now. You will be suffering many defeats, and as you will not be ready by the end of the school year. The class stares at their new teacher in shock, reeling from the fact that she just admitted such a statement to them. Even All Might is wondering what the hell is the woman thinking, but wisely chooses not to interrupt. I don't care if you are a beginner. I don't care if you have fighting experience. I don't care if you had been taught by a licensed pro hero. Villains will not go easy on you. They will not be fair under any circumstance, and tutelage from a pro hero is useless if they decide the best course of action is to just punch them and hope for the best. Before you can even think of using your quirks of any way, I will teach you how to fight. She picks up the stopwatch again and switches it to timer mode. When we get to Gym Gamma, you will all have 15 minutes to get yourselves dressed and ready to go, so there will be no talking nor messing around. Get to it. The class immediately picks up their cases and bolt out the door, making sure not to make her any more angry than what she appears to be. All Might for his part looks at Inko, a blend of anxiousness and exasperation gracing his face. Mrs. Midoriya, is it really necessary for that kind of method? You know they are heroes, not soldiers. First years no less, he asks. Inko looks back at him deadpan. Like you have a right to ask me that. Do you even have any teaching experience? Well, not really, but then please let me take care of this, just for today. I know they have you to teach heroics as well, but I want to make sure they get to learn something. Okay, now you're just being mean. Just because I have no teaching experience doesn't mean that I don't have anything to teach them. Yes, but they just barely starting to get to the nitty-gritty of things, and I want to make sure that I know what I'm dealing with before anything else. What was wrong with my teaching plan for today then? That's exactly what I was going for. Putting children into a cheesy hero-villain scenario with them beating the crap out of each other for several minutes does not count for a good idea. All Might. Neither does having you systematically doing the same to them. Yes, it does, and you want to know why. Inko asks as she makes her way towards the door. She looks back with a very wide grin. Because before they can learn how to win, I have to teach them what it means to lose. She replies before heading out to ground Beta. All Might could only sigh in defeat as he trudges alongside her. He knows how she can keep Izuku in check, but he can't help but feel sorry for the students. The only thing he can hope for at this point is to make sure she doesn't go overboard, which he'll probably fail at soon if her temper is anything to go by. The entire class of 1 are currently waiting in Gym Gamma, all dressed in their costumes and idle conversations until their teacher arrived. Even then, the atmosphere is more tense due to their first impression with Mrs. Midoriya. Few in particular are still anxious about what the lesson will be about, given the teacher's short speech. Man, Midoriya-sensei really is terrifying, isn't she? Asked Zero. She is. She might be a gorgeous woman, but that look. I thought I was going to get a heart attack, replied Kaminari. Gentlemen, both of them looked at Ida. We are not here to ogle the female teachers here. We are here to learn from them. She might be intimidating, but she is here to teach us the ways to defend ourselves. Minda butted into the conversation. Speak for yourself. Did you not see her ample chest? Her slender legs? I wouldn't mind being dominated by such a thwack. Bakugo drove his fist down his head, quickly shutting him up. Shut the fuck up, ball handler. I don't need to know your damn fantasizes. He yells, quickly getting the class attention. Hey Bakubro, what do you think we'll be doing today? Asks Kirishima. How the fuck should'll I know? Well, you know Izuku, right? That means you know Midoriya-sensei too. I'm not his friend, damn it. Then how the hell you know about Izuku then? Bakugo gave him a harsh glare, like I'd fucking tell you, Rocky. Well, if you're not gonna spill anything, then I might as well do. The boys as well as the rest of class want to turn their attention to Gyro. You fucking better not. Either I say it or I get Midoriya-sensei to do it. Well, that shut him up quickly. Okay, so what's the deal with those two? I know they got some sort of history going on, but that's about it, says Kaminari. Gyro took a deep breath and began to explain. So essentially their rivalry began right when they got their quirks at the age of 4. They got into a disagreement over whose was better, and it got out of hand. Next thing you know, the entire playground and the area around it was trashed. But that can't be it, right? There has to be more than just one fight, asks Asui. You're right, and there was more than one. As a matter of fact, there is a whole catalog about all the incidents that took place there from then to now. The locals started calling it the Musutafu misadventures, but it's also referred to as just the incident. Good lord, so much delinquency from these two and nobody saw fit to solve the situation? Asks Ida. Fuck you, 4 eyes. You would think that, but no, says Gyro, confusing the class. What? How? Surely they must have some extensive records within law enforcement or other authorities, even if they aren't arrested, right? Asks Yaoyorozu. It is because of the strange happenings that occur within their borders, says Takoyami. Now joining into the conversation, they stayed quiet, prompting him to continue. For reasons that no one could fathom, strange and mysterious events happen whenever the one called Izuku is involved. Whenever he is around, the area bends to his will regardless of what reality dictates. So things just happen, because he makes it happen, asks Kirishima. Such as the darkness surrounds the lone flickering light, so does reality around an anomaly such as Izuku. From that statement, there were no further inquiries. Not that they could anyway, as Inko had finally arrived at the area. I apologize for the delay, as there were some last-minute changes to our routine, says Inko as she took her place within the other side of the field and took a stance. Now then, Bakugo. He immediately stiffened up in fear when his name was heard, already dreading the upcoming fight. The rest of the class quickly went to the sidelines. Do you remember what my quirk is? Telekinesis, ma'am. What is your quirk then? I can make explosions, ma'am. Then which of us has the stronger quirk? I have strongest quirk. The class cried out in protest over that statement, but was quickly shut down by a glare from Inko. Then that is your first mistake, because your quirk is only one part of your overall strength. What is the point of punching if you can't land a hit? What's the point in being fast if all you do is avoid and dodge? More importantly, what's the point of having a quirk if an enemy can quickly learn how to disable and counteract it? I want to make this clear, and I want to make sure that all of you remember this. A quirk is only as useful as the individual that wields it. No point in having a quirk if it makes you stagnant. And Ko now faces Bakugo, who immediately grits his teeth in painful anticipation. EOOOM. Then pales in horror along with the class as she suddenly throws a punch to the ground, cracking the hard concrete and causing a shockwave. Now then, Katsuki, says Inko, a feral grin growing on her face. Show me how useful you are.